Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. We're from Group 4. In this moment, we would like to do a debate. The motion of this group is this host will ban the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing. I'm Nofisa Fitri as the first speaker of opposition, and Iin Habibah. Hello, Iin.
Hello.
As the first speaker of affirmative, and Afifah Januar Hasna.
Hello.
As the second speaker of opposition. Time is yours for the first speaker of affirmative team.
Thank you. Faith healing involves individuals praying to God to fix their actual medical ailments. Sometimes their prayer is led or administered by a faith healer. While this sort of thing seems alright for television, in the real world, it's actually dangerous. People, and often children, die or face serious medical complications as a result of following the advice of faith healers. Faith healing is minimally a violation of civil laws and government regulations. When it comes to children, there's even more likelihood of criminality. However, depending on the harm caused, it could also lead to injuries, death, and serious criminal charges. Not only can a practitioner face legal consequences, but parents can as well. The most common issue is that faith healers and believers will refuse necessary medical care, not just for themselves, but for their children and even adult dependents. Okay, now I would like to provide some evidences. Throughout 2016, 3 people with rabies in West Sumatra died. Those who died were suspected of being late in getting medical treatment because they were late in reporting to the health workers. They prefer to go to a faith healer instead of going to a local hospital or clinic to get necessary medical care. They believe that faith healers are capable of dealing with rabies, so they don't care about health necessary medical care. In fact, if rabies is not treated properly until a certain time, the virus transmitted by these animals will attack the nervous system and brain, and it causes death. And then from 2002 until 2017, 186,843 Idaho residents died, and 5,586 of them were minor children or stillbirths. More children die because of faith-based medical neglect in Idaho than in any other state. The combination of Idaho's tribal laws and several congregations with religious beliefs against medical care has caused the lives of hundreds of children. Now, what I want to emphasize here is that we must ban faith-based healing because it is very dangerous for the patient and makes people distrustful of health services, which they understand better in the field of health. Why we should ban the advocacy of and practice of faith-based healing. First, people and often children die or face serious medical complications as a result of following the advice of faith healers. If we don't ban faith-based healing, there will be many more victims, especially children who will get serious health complications and die because of the negligence of parents who believe in faith healers rather than health services. Second, although faith healers might find prayer to be acceptable medical treatment, listens to medical community does not. As such, when it comes to faith healing of children, for children, parents and practitioners can be held criminally and civilly responsible. If a child dies, manslaughter or murder charges can even be brought, depending on the facts. While freedom of religion is one of the founding tenets of our country, a line must be drawn when it comes to individuals and children being harmed, injured, and killed. So, with some evidence above, this help would ban the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Nafisa Fitri, the first speaker of oppositions. The affirmative themes implies that advocacy and practice of faith-based healings makes people ignore medical treatment. What team oppositions wants here is to make advocacy and practice of faith-based healing as a complementary treatment of medical treatment. His practice will provide treatment from the spiritual and emotional side of the patient without leaving the medical treatment they must do. In other words, patient must continue to take medical care for the medical problems they suffer, and the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing as a complement to medical treatment to deal with patients' spiritual and emotional or psychological problems. The affirmative teams state that people and often children die or face serious medical complications as a result of following the advice of faith healers, or in other words, advocacy and practice of faith-based healing have a dangerous and bad impact. I would say that the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing do not have a dangerous and bad impact. People or children won't die or face serious medical complications if they the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing as a treatment that only deals with their spiritual and mental problems and make this treatment as a companion to the main treatment, which is medical treatment. We all know that in this world there are many things that are indeed difficult to explain scientifically. There is always a belief that arises in humans, even something that is substantial in human life, such as believing that it is not an easy thing to explain scientifically. We never know how God formed or how he was created, but we choose to believe in his existence. Believe about gods, but ghosts, or something like that. These beliefs are difficult to explain scientifically, but we can we can feel their existence, right? This is the same as the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing. Trust is the basis for patient to receive this treatment or practice, and a belief about this practice can be explained from psychological science. Talking about beliefs about this practice, of course, we all know that has to do with the spiritual and emotional side of human, not with medical or physical condition. What I want to emphasize is that the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing does not function to replace medical treatment, but functions to assist patients from a spiritual and emotional perspective. Moving on to my substantives, banning advocacy and practice of faith-based healing will have a negative impact on the mental health of patients and then slow down the healing of patients. From my previous explanation, I have emphasized that the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing functions to assist patients from the spiritual and emotional side or the psychological side. And mental assistance like this is needed for the patients. Mental assistance like this is useful to have speed up the patient's healing. According to Psychology Today, a large and popular psychology magazine, they agree that advocacy and practice of faith-based healing has positive benefit and can work well. Advocacy and practice of faith-based healing provides a placebo effect for patients. This effect works by stimulating the mind with positive things so that it will improve psychological mood. A good psychological conditions, of course, will then have a good impact on the patient's physical health and will eventually speed up their recovery. On the other hand, a bad psychological condition will actually worsen their physical condition and eventually slow down their healing. That's why banning advocacy and practice of faith healing is unnecessary, because advocacy and practice of faith-based healing can help speed up patient healing and can complement medical treatment. Next argument. Banning advocacy and practice of faith-based healing can reduce the patient's quality of life and shorten the patient's life change. Spiritual patients can take advantage of their faith in overcoming illness, pain, and life stresses. Several studies have shown that those who are spiritual tend to have more positive outlook and have a better quality of life. For example, patients with advanced cancer who find comfort in their religious and spiritual beliefs are more satisfied with their lives, happier and in lifespan. Research from Duke University Center for the Study of Religion and Spirituality and Health commit improve stress control by offering better coping mechanism, richer social support, and the strength of personal values and worldviews. That's why banning advocacy and practice of faith-based healing is unnecessary, because advocacy and practice of faith-based healing can improve the patient's quality of life and prolong the patient's life change. From my explanation, we can see the spiritual beliefs have a positive impact on the patient's psychology and improve the patient's quality of life. Spiritual belief can also help patients cope with illness and face death. This is why we must maintain the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing. Thank you so much.
Okay, I would like to thank the affirmative team who have given their opinion regarding the motion this house bans the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing. And now, I'm Afifah Januar as the opposition team will go further about what we like to elaborate on. First of all, they said that people and often children die or face serious medical complications as a result of following the advice of faith healers. Before I give argument, I will first describe the problem that occurred. The existence of faith-based healing practice, or what I mean by Ruqyah, occurs because of the background problems regarding mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, mental health is still a significant health problem in the world, including in Indonesia. According to WHO data in 2016, there are about 35 million people affected by depression, 60 million people affected by bipolar, 21 million affected by schizophrenia, and 47.5 million affected by dementia. In Indonesia, with various biological, psychological, and social factors with a diverse population, the number of cases of mental disorders continue to increase, which has an impact on increasing the burden on the state and decreasing human productivity in the long term. In fact, since the beginning of the 19th century, it can be said that medical experts began to realize the relationship between disease and the human condition and psyche. This reciprocal relationship causes humans to suffer from physical disorders caused by mental disorders, and vice versa, mental disorders can cause physical illness. Among these mental factors are religious beliefs. Mental illness has absolutely nothing to do with medical healing, as well as healing mental illness using a religious approach. Entering the 21st century, there is a new awareness in the medical world. At the time, the medical community began to realize that health problems are not only psychical problems, but also mental problems. According to Thomas Kaplan, the situation can be seen from the large number of interest in spirituality and health issues studied in research on the influence of religious and spiritual behavior and belief on mental and psychical health outcomes. This condition allows the reopening of approach between the medical world and the religious world, which Matters call the two tradition of healing. Brower also stated that at the beginning of the history of development in the medical world, in this case, in hospital, it showed that psychical care was always combined with mental or spiritual care, but in religious sense and psychotherapy. This was also expressed by Matthew in 1977, who said, medicine and religion have worked hand in hand in the process of healing for thousands of years. Mas Suhartono shows that the Islamic psychotherapy approach combined with a medical approach will accelerate the healing process of mental disorders. Therefore, I don't agree. If the government bans the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing like Ruqyah, because based on several studies, it has been said that so far medical service are not solely related to healing the sick only with a mechanical process, but also with prior treatment such as doing ruqyah. This kind of understanding must be straightened out. This can also be proven from some people who experiments or experience mental disorders can recover after they do ruqyah. Regarding people who died or face serious medical complication, I think it happened because of the fault of an irresponsible person. Ladies and gentlemen, for most of the Indonesian people, religion is still a very decisive element in life, personal and social as well in politics, economy, and even in healing diseases. In connection with this, religion is then used by certain people to attract people who need psychological spiritual assurance for their effort, for example, to recover from illness or to success in career and family relationship. Because religion is so important in achieving desires, not a few shamans have to adapt, likely by adding religious rituals, symbols, and prayers in their rituals and spells. Or like Ustadz Guntur Bumi, which use religion and the shallow understanding of the people to attract many people to come for treatment to him, so they get a lot of income. All ironically, the treatment that is being carried out is not true according to the teaching of the religion itself, because it is accompanied by lies or deception. So I emphasize again, I don't agree if the government bans the advocacy and practice of faith-based healing, because if we examine, this method is very useful for healing disease, especially mental disorders. We can take advantage of faith-based healing methods or maximize their benefits by finding the right person, because not everyone is endowed with the expertise and ability to perform treatment with the Quran. And if faith-based treatment is carried out correctly, precisely, full of confidence and fight and steady heart and fulfills its requirement, then no disease can fight it. Yes.
Thank you so much. That's all our performance. We're sorry if there are any mistakes, and we also sorry that the second speaker of the affirmative team unable to join us. Thank you.